are your 2025 Commissioner Cup champions. Let's pop some champagne. Woo! Frank, can you put some sound effects or something in this? Ridiculous. I'm not actually gonna pop champagne because I don't want to ruin my set, and then this video will be done. But I hope that you enjoyed this short little montage of me absolutely embarrassing myself. Anyway, the Indiana Fever are your 2025 Commissioner's Cup champions. Last night, they beat the Minnesota Lynx 74-59. And it's so funny because before this game, I was like, Commissioner's Cup doesn't matter. It's not even a real game. It doesn't count towards their record. I don't care who wins. And then the Indiana Fever won, and I was so hyped for them. It actually felt like a real championship game to me. And with this, you guys, they do get a $500,000 pot that will be split among the team. So they did win some money, and that's really cool. But I think I was so excited because this was such an unexpected win for the Fever. The Lynx were heading into this game only having lost 2 games on the season, and they were also undefeated at home, and this game was in Minnesota. And the Indiana Fever were without Caitlin Clark, without Damiris Dantas, and they also had just lost to Juana Bonner recently and gained Ari McDonald, but this was only her, I think, 3rd game with the team since she has been re-signed. And obviously we've seen throughout the Fever's season so far, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. They've had some really good games. They beat the New York Liberty to break their winning streak, but then just a week prior, they lost to the Connecticut Sun, who are the worst team in the WNBA. They've had close games where they've completely blown the lead in the 4th quarter, games that they should have won. There's been drama on the outside, people wondering why Juana Bonner actually left, what's going on in the locker room. There's just been so much surrounding this Fever team, and even at this very point in time, I think they are 7th in the standings in the WNBA, so they still haven't completely proven themselves. But I think us as Fever fans were so excited for this because what the Fever showed in this game is they showed grit, they showed energy, they showed how they came together, not only in the locker room but on the court. They were moving the ball well, and the thing that impressed me most about this Fever team in last night's game was their defense. The defensive scheme, whatever coach on the Fever put together that defensive scheme to shut down Nafisa Collier and also make sure that they had a hand up in all of the Lynx's shooters' face for every single shot. They did a fantastic job with that. And I also want to shout out Natasha Howard. She was MVP of the Commissioner's Cup. She ended the game with 16 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Her key job of the night was to guard Nafisa Collier, and she held her to only 12 points. And Nafisa Collier right now is the front runner for MVP. She is having an incredible season, and a lot of people thought Fee was going to go off. There was nobody on the Fever who could guard her, and Natasha Howard stepped up to that challenge. She showed so much energy. She showed so much athleticism and speed on the court, and that is something with Natasha Howard. I feel like it has also taken her a few games to get into the flow of the Fever offense and really just find her groove and find her place on this team, but she has very much impressed me in this game and also in the last game against Dallas. She was all over the place and she made such an impact, and some of Natasha Howard's impact on the floor doesn't always show up on the stat card. Across the board, it felt like the Fever were moving on a string. They were getting to their defensive spots, and they held the Minnesota Lynx to 59 points. The game in general was pretty low scoring, but there was a stretch in the 2nd quarter where the Minnesota Lynx didn't score for 8 minutes straight. And I think that's something, we're obviously always looking at points and how the players are scoring and this and that, but there is something to say about defense, and that was a glaring red flag about the Fever team last year was their defense. And so in this game, when it came to this championship, you guys know the saying, offense wins games, defense wins championships. I think that is actually what won them the game. Now, I will also say that the Fever shot much better than the Minnesota Lynx in this game. They shot 43% from the field and 42% from 3, and the Minnesota Lynx only shot 25% from 3 and 35% from the field. The Fever had 5 players who scored in double digits, with Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Ari McDonald both having 12 points, and Sophie Cunningham having 13 points, and she also knocked down 3 threes. And Sophie was also somebody who came in, she stepped up big, she also played great on defense, she was active on offense, but overall, I was just impressed by the teamwork of the Indiana Fever. They all seemed so lit after the game. Even people on social media were saying like they celebrated more for the Commissioner's Cup championship than the Oklahoma City Thunder did when they won the NBA Finals. And I want to show you guys this video. I'm sure that you've probably already seen it by now if you are on social media. But Sid Colson actually went live on her Instagram. As you can see, all the players are dancing. You have Sid, you have Michaela Timpson, you have Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell. And then Caitlin is off screen. But listen to what they say in this video.
Guys, I just know everybody in the league is sick.
They're pissed.
So Caitlin said, guys, I just know everybody in this league is sick. And then Aaliyah Boston said, they're pissed. And then Sid said, they hate us. And that was something also that Sophie said in a recent interview. She said, every other team has the Indiana Fever game circled on their schedule. Other teams do not like us. And she got a lot of backlash on social media, and fans were like, what are you talking about? No one's even thinking about the Fever. They don't hate you guys. Why are you playing victim? There was so many things. Like, everybody had something to say about her saying that. But I feel like there's probably some truth to it if everybody in that locker room is saying the league is sick, they're pissed, they hate us. But I actually think that this is a good thing. If you feel like the entire outside world is against you, that is going to bring the locker room together even more. And as you can tell from like all of the social media clips that we've seen of them celebrating and being so happy and playing music and getting on their social media, like they really did appreciate this win. These girls are having fun together, and you could see that not only in what they showed in the locker room, but you could see it in the game. And I think that's why they were able to prevail and beat the Lynx. Now, I will say this was an uncharacteristic game for the Minnesota Lynx. Like I said, they didn't shoot well. That could have been a testament to the Indiana Fever's defense. And Nafisa Collier did not play her best. She was 6 for 18 from the field. She was 0 for 2 from 3. But one thing that the Indiana Fever did is they also were pretty physical with the Lynx, and the refs let them play. And the refs were relatively consistent across the board when it came to the fouls that they were calling. They did start to call some weird ones at the end of the game on both sides of the court. I'm not really sure what was going on, but overall, the game was relatively physical, and they let the players play through the physicality, but it never crossed the line to the point where it was dirty or excessive. And that's what I also appreciate about these two teams. Like, neither of them were taking shots at one another. Like, there were times when players from the Lynx fell on the floor and Fever players helped them up, or vice versa. I think there is a level of respect between both of these teams. And one clip that I also thought was so funny during the game was when Aaliyah Boston and Nafisa Collier got chippy with one another. And as you guys can see in this video, Aaliyah Boston is trying to take it to the post, and she does throw a little elbow into Nafisa Collier's chest. Like, she did get pretty physical. And then Fee goes up to her. They start talking back and forth. I was laughing at this because from what I know and from what I've heard, these two players are like two of the nicest players in the league. And sometimes people are even making jokes about Fee. Like, even when she does get spicy, even when she does get an attitude, it's almost like a mom attitude. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly. This little matchup between the two of them, again, it got physical. I thought the push-off was a little excessive, but I don't think that it was dirty in any sense. And it just added to the drama and the spiciness of the game. And speaking of drama, there's something that we have got to go over, and we talked about it at length in my live watch party last night. And that is the fact that ESPN put up the wrong title before the game even ended. And this is what they had to say. They said, Lynx dominate Fever to win Commissioner's Cup. Now, this was a live stream that would be starting in 42 minutes, as you can see from my screenshot here. And I was actually late to taking this screenshot. A lot of you guys in chat were telling me that ESPN titled something wrong. I didn't really know what was going on. And then you guys finally explained it to me. And then I went over to ESPN's YouTube page and I looked at it, and that was the title. And I could not believe it. This was going into the fourth quarter. The game wasn't even close to done yet. And the Indiana Fever had been leading the game since the first half. I don't know in what world how ESPN thought that this was even an option for a title. Like, yes, okay, maybe it's an option for a title if you're trying to think like, okay, here's an option for if the Lynx win. Here's an option for if the Fever win. This was such a huge mistake in my personal opinion. And you're a company who has billions of dollars, and you have so many employees, you have so many checks that you have to go through before something goes live, before you put up a video, before you do a live stream. And you mean to tell me that this title, this Lynx dominate the Fever to win the Commissioner Commissioner's Cup title was up for an hour before the live stream even started. And I also, you guys, I screen recorded some of the comments that were coming in when they actually did go live, and it was so toxic. Like, the people were so upset. So many people were tweeting about it. I tweeted about it. And then they ended up changing the title to Fever Stun the Lynx to win the Commissioner's Cup. And I was also bothered by that, because why are you saying the Fever stun the Lynx? The Fever actually dominated the Lynx. They led ever since they went on the 18-0 run in the second quarter. They led for the entire rest of the game. Why did you say the Fever stun the Lynx and not the Fever dominate the Lynx? Why was the script already written in your minds? And I know at the end of the day, it's not that serious, but I think I get bothered by it because I'm an independent media person myself, and I've just seen so many of these bigger mainstream media companies just fumble the coverage of women's basketball, and they have certain narratives that they want to push when they're talking about women's basketball. And I'm not saying whoever titled this like has a narrative, but you continue to do things that are low-key disrespectful. And like, think if this was on the men's side. Like, think if this was the NBA Finals and they had Indiana Pacers dominate the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the NBA Finals, and that's up for an hour. Like, you would not hear the end of it. And that's why even when I tweeted this, like, people had so many excuses. They're like, I don't know why you're getting mad. It's just one of their producers who probably had a long day and has a lot of other things to do. Miss me with that. I'm sorry. You have billions of dollars. The least you could do is make sure that a title is correct. And of course, we have not heard from ESPN. They made no sort of apology or amendment or took any sort of accountability for this title. But I just wanted to point that out because I was definitely going in on my live stream last night. But anyway, you guys, that's my rant on that. Congratulations to the Indiana Fever for winning your first ever Commissioner's Cup. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and click that little